shifting gears, of synods and stressors. So, as we all know, Pope Francis is trying to promote a climate of synodality in the Catholic Church. And broadly speaking, what he means by that is listening to all the stakeholders in the church, consulting widely, trying to spread things around in terms of responsibility for making decisions and so forth. So it's not always so entirely top-down. That's the idea. Now, there are all kinds of situations that suggest that might be a headache for the Pope, right? I mean, there is the Citadel Path in Germany, where the liberal majority in the German church just has significantly run ahead of where the Pope and his Vatican team want them to be, and not entirely clear how that's going to shake out. But I would suggest to you that if you're looking for the spot on the map right now, which is putting up the biggest kind of yellow light about what the potential pitfalls of synodality might be, I would give to you India, and specifically India's Syro-Malabar Church. Now, let's begin with the fact that the Syro-Malabar Church, one of the 23 Eastern churches in full communion with Rome, is actually governed by a synod. Now, this is not the Pope Francis version of a synod where everybody has a seat at the table. It's not just bishops, right? But it's priests, it's religious, it's nuns, it's lay people, it's cats, it's dogs, lions, lambs, right? I mean, everybody. Well, not so in the Syro-Malabar Church. It's the classic model of a synod where it's just the bishops. But nevertheless, it is a synodal mode of governance. Now, in 2021, the Synod of the Syro-Malabar Church decided that they wanted to adopt a uniform mode of celebrating Mass. Prior to that, there had been different customs in different parts of the church. But the Synod decided, nope, by God, from here on out, we're going to do it all the same way. And basically, it involves the priest facing the congregation for the liturgy of the word, then facing the altar for the liturgy of the Eucharist, and then turning back around for the concluding rites. Now, the largest jurisdiction in the Syro-Malabar Church is the Archdiocese of Ernakulam-Algamini. Nailed it! Ernakulam-Algamini. And it's where at least half of the total Syro-Malabar population actually lives, in the southern Indian region of Kerala. And in this archdiocese, priests and laity have risen up and said, nope, not doing it. Our custom of having the priest face the people throughout the Mass is not only our tradition, but it is also more consistent with Vatican II's teaching on the liturgy. And so they have just steadfastly refused to adopt this uniform method of celebrating the Mass. And in fact, have actually called rallies that have blockaded the primatial basilica, St. Mary's Basilica in Kochi in southern India, which is the traditional mothership, so to speak, of the Syro-Malabar Church. They've formed human chains around the thing so that clergy who are going to celebrate this uniform Mass can't get in. All right? They've burned decrees from the leadership of the church in public, saying, we're not going there. Now, beneath the liturgical dispute, there are other issues. These protesters also accuse Cardinal George Allen Cherry, the leader of the Syro-Malabar Church, of financial impropriety. This relates to some land deals back in 2015-2016 where he sold off archdiocesan property for pennies on the dollar, allegedly to benefit some of his cronies. He's facing a criminal indictment with 7 different charges for that. Other people accuse Allen Cherry and his hand-picked team of being, well, to use the quote, drunk with power. Still others say Allen Cherry is way too soft on India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his right-wing Hindu nationalist BJP party because he wants Modi to basically save his bacon on these criminal charges, and so is overlooking what critics say is a widespread campaign of anti-Christian persecution of religious minorities generally under Modi. Anyway, point is this, okay? Here we've got a church that is allegedly synodal, right? It's governed by a synod, and yet it is in chaos. And the clergy and laity, at least a significant share of them in this church, are saying this synodality is a sham, that the bishops are acting like dictators, and they are, in effect, defying the Pope's vision of synodality, which is you're supposed to listen to the people, you're supposed to look before you leap, basically, right? The point is, the pathway to synodality is anything but smooth. And, if you want a forecast for the kind of potholes and pitfalls and potential, perils, to go with the P alliteration motif here, if you want any of that, look at what is currently unfolding in the Syro-Malabar Church in India. I mean, what it suggests is that synodality, great idea. The execution of it sometimes, just make sure your tray tables are in a full upright and locked position because the skies may get a little bit bumpy. All right, third up this week, anniversary of